Hi guys, Storm here with another video, and I wanted to present to you this idea. So, I've researched heavily and extensively, and all the YouTubers I can tell, again, one of the main reasons why I made my channel, is to bypass the bullshit. So you're able to find the answer right away, and them not shoving their, opinions, their clickbait, their bullshit down your throat. Um, or telling you to get that overzealous game, Raid Shadow Legends. I'm sure you're sick and tired of it, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be playing that game, but 9 times out of 10 they're just doing it for the money, and they're not actually gonna play the game. Maybe that most so they get their commissions is that they have to make an account and show that they've played a little bit, and then they'll stop playing. Anyway, so moving on to the content of today. So what it is, and it has to be, is the Bat to Hell contraband. So let's discuss that. In order to get contrabands, you are going to have to do a lot of scavengers and recons. Now, that's it. There's no big hidden secret, and a lot of YouTubers are not telling you this, so I'm going to tell you this fairly. Okay, so also I think it depends on if you're playing Warzone or if you're playing Plunder. That's a huge part that they're leaving out. So when playing Warzone, when you do a recon contract, you get stuff that pops out of the little recon area display that you have to watch and put for a given period of time, depending on if it's just you or your entire team. Obviously, the more people are on it, if you're not playing solos, the quicker it gets done. So I would imagine if you are playing solos, because you're just by yourself, it would get done quicker, because there's no one else to help you. So the game is able to compensate that way. So, but if you're not playing Warzone, you're playing Plunder, Blood Money, whatever you want to call it, it's really just Plunder. What you're going to need to do is probably not do recons, because think about it this way: when you're doing Plunder, no items come out of the recon, do they? No, they do not. Now this is me just saying it's a highly likely chance that you will not get contraband out of recon, and here's why. I've gone to Reddit streams, I've gone to every YouTuber, I've gone to Twitch. No one has a straightforward tell you, and I'm just gonna say, well, fuck it. No one else is gonna give you what you're looking for, so I'm going to do it myself. Just think about it this way: if a recon contract produces no items in Plunder and only in Warzone, then I would imagine that would also count towards Plunder. Now, that's not to say that it's impossible. This game is so fucking glitchy it might, but glitches aside, maybe it will eventually come out of a Plunder recon one day. But I think it's better to be safe than sorry. So if you're ever playing Plunder, whether it be to level up your guns, whether you're just wanting to win a lot of Plunder games, get your Plunder wins up for the Mastery calling card, whether you just prefer Plunder, whatever the case may be, if you're going to play Plunder to try to get this contraband, I highly recommend doing Scavenger. Not only does it drop items in both Warzone and Plunder, obviously if Scavenger is the only thing that to drop items, then I think it's a safe bet to say that you're going to find the contraband in Scavenger in Warzone and Plunder, but that's it. But you won't find contraband in Recon in Plunder, only in Warzone. You see what I'm saying? Because if one drops items in Warzone and then one doesn't drop items in Plunder, then I would think it would be a safe bet to assume that if the game's not registering, even if it was meant to be and they made it, that it's supposed to be, but because the game recognizes that you're not supposed to drop items in Plunder when completing a recon contract, I think this game is so fucking glitchy, even if that was the way it was meant to be, that all contracts are supposed to just get a contraband. It's not the way that it's worked, and I've never seen it done that way. So, because I've looked up the Call of Duty forums too, their few cents, and what they're telling me is all contracts produce contraband, and I've looked far and wide, and that just simply ain't the case. Now, of course, you can kill someone who has contraband and they can drop the contraband that they had, and you can pick it up from them. But other than that, it's not happening. Now, that's not to say that if you were to complete like a Most Wanted, and Most Wanted is only in Warzone, by the way, most people don't know that. Or if you were to do a bounty and they dropped it, you could assume that they had it and they were going to go do it. But who's to say that you didn't just kill them and they dropped the contraband even if they didn't have it before because you completed the contract, and completing the contract by Call of Duty Activision's standards, from what they're telling me, is that you can have a chance, very few, it's very rare, chance of finding a contraband. Now again, that's the way it's supposed to be made, but it's also, out of all the previous Call of Duties, it's also supposed to be made, this game is supposed to be made with a working recent player system. Well, again, reason why we don't have a working player system is kind of the same reason why we have a bunch of glitches in this game, which is why it's just as bad, if not worse, than Glitch Ops 4. Everyone knows what I'm referring to. Black Ops 4. This is also known as Modern Warfare 4. People can say whatever they want. It's not a prequel. The campaign is not a prequel, so it can't be Modern Warfare. And if it's going to be a Modern Warfare, at the very least, it should say prequel. It should say Modern Warfare 0. Any of those names, and I've stated this before, makes sense. Modern Warfare is confusing because Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was the Modern Warfare. The initial installment, from when you went from normal Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 happened to be going to Modern Warfare. Sorry, I had to catch my breath. Because it's just a lot to say, and sometimes I get a little too into it. So I want to let you guys know that I think the safest bet across both game modes, Warzone and Plunder, and any game mode, I'm sure it can pop in any game mode, as long as you're mainly focusing on Scavenger. So if you guys want the Bat Out of Hell calling card, or so what am I saying? Bat Out of Hell gun variant from the contraband, you're going to want to do Scavenger. Obviously, you have the chance of getting it from somebody else. Obviously, it's a safer bet to do contracts than not do contracts, because based on what they're saying, you get it through contracts. But you also have to understand there are people say a lot of things and they don't put up when they should, so they need to shut up. So again, just to put emphasis, not only is this game unlikely to follow through with what it said and set out to do, because think of it this way, all the other Call of Duties didn't have a broken recent players listing. They purposely broke recent players in Warzone and Call of Duty Modern Warfare because of the fact they wanted to say fuck you to the fans. Why do they want to say fuck you to the fans? Because they were tired of the bitching and complaining that you guys do, that we all do. Now, there's a difference between bitching and complaining, versus just telling them to fix shit they need to fix. Now, like for the C4, no one didn't really have a issue with the way C4 was. Everyone was fine with the C4. So it seems almost like they're breaking things and fixing things they don't need to break. Didn't need to break the recent players. Didn't need to fix the C4. It was never broken to begin with. But they're dumbing down things we don't want dumbed down. They're breaking things we don't want them to break. It's like they're intentionally doing it. And actually, a couple of my buddies who are YouTubers, I'm not going to name names, out of their respect for them, and I have searched through other channels and Twitch streams and all that. Other people are slowly, and there was a couple of people that actually found it out early, as soon as the game came out, that Call of Duty and people that have connections to the actual workers at Activision. As you know, any business that starts off is, they want people to enjoy their content, so they pull out all the stops. They're not lazy. They're not corrupt. When business starts getting money, starts getting full of themselves, if it's a restaurant, the quality goes down, the portions are smaller, the business is shittier, the people are more miserable that are working there. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's the way things work in this world. Definitely no different for Activision. Games used to be great, then they started to become shitty and sloppy, then they became outright garbage. Okay, so they're complaining that, oh, we can't satisfy you. Now, to the extent they're right, we say we don't want boots on the ground, then we say we want futuristic, then we say we want back to boots on the ground, and you can never appease them. There's a lot of idiotic, toxic assholes that are on the Call of Duty community, so you have to understand. Out of the Call of Duty community, I'd say a good 75 to 90% of people are either lazy, bums, people with less intelligence because they don't have a job, so this is all they got, living on their welfare checks, all that shit. Because it's true. A lot of my friends, not that they are, but they know people. They're friends with friends. It's a fact. If you put your two and two together, if you actually think about it, it makes sense. So, for those who aren't doing this kind of thing for a living, that's what they do. So, and it's just full of like Fortnite kids. It's full of squeakers, for the lazy, deadbeats. It's just full of really toxic people. And so you can have friends who want to add you because, oh yeah, you're a YouTuber, or you're so cool, or you're getting so many kills, or you're so great, or you're so awesome, you have so much intelligence. Oh my god, you have so many friends lists, I can't add you. All these different things, and I'll get added, but it's like you have to understand the definition between a friend versus a associate. So, someone can be your friend, but unless they're going to say, oh, by the way, I'm going to be your friend, but then not show any qualities of a friend. A friend is someone who has got your back, will be there for you, will, if you're making shit life for yourself, making poor decisions, they'll sit you down, and they'll still back you up if you make a stupid comment in front of somebody, because they'll always have your back. But once you're to your, just you and them, they'll say, hey, by the way, I stuck up for you back there, but just so you know, you're not in the right, and here's why. And actually, if you have a good friend that isn't a closed-minded asshole and is open-minded, and you explain to them in thorough detail, and repeat it in different ways if you have to. People learn different, paces and whatnot. But you explain to them, hey, by the way, you were actually in the wrong. So I didn't want to make you a fool of you by undermining you and going against what you said. But yeah, they had a point. They were assholes, but they didn't need to say it that way. But they weren't right. And that's how you're a friend. He's always got their back. They're willing to be there for you. They'll freaking make a bed for you at their place. They'll lend you money. They're a friend. They're your brother or your sister. They got your back in all possible ways, because that's what a true friend is. That's what a best friend is. Anyway, sorry for getting sidetracked, but yeah, that's what a friend is. And it's just unfortunate that, again, going back to the community, that I'd say 99.9%, I don't think I can really say there's a true friend on my friends list, because they all just want to, be friends with me because I'm a YouTuber, because I'm good at the game. I use common sense and strategy, and common sense is a lacking commodity nowadays. So yeah. Anyway, going back to Call of Duty's corruption and their ego, that's why that I think it's a good 25% that they understand that the community is toxic and they're never going to be satisfied. You satisfy one group, the rest of everyone else is going to be hating on you for not doing what they want. So they have their hands tied with that, and that's acceptable. That's with any company. Now, also with any company, going back to their corruption, which is probably the more 75% of what's really going on, is there was no need, 100%, there was no need to fuck up the recent players listing when they haven't done it in the previous Call of Duties. It's not something to mess up. It's not something that, oh, we don't know what we're doing. You just insert, you copy and paste like you always do, because you're lazy bums over there, and you just do what you always do. You copy and paste. You lazily throw shit together, But this was intentional, and it was confirmed it was intentional by associates at Activision. And it's just unfortunate that they 100% had to say fuck you to the fans. And the funny thing is, I don't even think it's from them, per se. I think it's either a couple of really miserable fat fucks that are losers, and they realize it, so they want to lash out because they realize it, so they want other people to share their pain, so kind of like the bully that got bullied in school, had no friends because he was a loser, or he was misunderstood, whether it be the good misunderstood or the bad misunderstood, a real loser or someone who's just, again, misunderstood, and regardless, becomes a cop and abuses his power to finally have some, payback or whatever to set the scale, balanced. Either way, I feel like there's a couple, from what I understand, what I've been told, there's a couple of people like that, in that top position, finally a loser in position of power that's abusing their power, as well as those who are actually good employees at Activision are either A, getting fired, B, getting bribed to do shit like this, to make a broken recent player system. And I think there's two reasons for that. One, again, it goes back to saying fuck you, we're so rich and famous and powerful, there's nothing you can do to us, so here, say fuck you, and this is like to prevent you from complaining, which is not going to prevent us from complaining, it's going to make us complain more, one. And two, I think this is a very secondary reason, but think of it this way. Besides this, them saying to fuck you, besides them being corrupt assholes and saying big old fuck you to the community, besides all that, I think the secondary reason for having a recent players list that's fucked up and you literally have to search through the list is that they're getting tired of having to go through all the people that report people because they're just trash, and going through all those different reports to find out that it's just a dead end and the person's not really hacking, and that person's just reporting everybody because they think the person's hacking because they're actual trash, and they just call anyone who kills them trash or, hackers. And I agree to an extent. But that's why you have to filter out, you have to have a system that can filter out false reports, and, I would imagine, depending on who it is. And I would imagine, they do an investigation on the person. Is that person reporting it just because they're trash? Are they wasting our time intentionally? I think it's about the contents and the content. So if the person is just reporting people they don't like, or someone who talked trash to them, and they're just reporting to them, I think that's a waste of time. I think it depends. If someone's being racist, if someone's being hateful, I think there should be a offensive language, and I think there should be stuff like that. So, for example, if I go to report player, and I'm just doing this as an example, they're not, the report system has been broken from day one. 9 times out of 10 people don't get reported, they don't get banned, nothing happens to their account. Like, I actually had a friend who literally reported everyone for everything, and we checked on their accounts that nothing ever happened to them. So it's really, one, the report system has never really worked, ever. It's a way for you to feel better about yourself, to empowering yourself, but it's like a kid pressing a plastic phone toy. It's buttons that don't work, they don't do anything, you just push them and that's it. It's to make you feel empowered, but really they're shit, they don't do anything. Offensive clan tag, that's really not up to Activision, except for this game, where you can have a separate clan tag, or offensive username that's different, because you can apparently change it, other than if you're on PlayStation or Xbox, that's going to be separate. So you can have a name, Activision name, and you can have a PlayStation or Xbox name that can be different if you choose to change it. Most people don't, out of simplicity, especially if they have channels and they want people to follow them and know that it's not a complicated mix of different names. So that's what they're doing. Let's see. So as an example, exploiting report submitted for exploiting. Now, exploiting, I would imagine, for someone using a glitch. That's exploiting. You're exploiting the system. You're not hacking, you're not a cheater, but you're using a glitch to cheat. So someone, again, if you think of it this way, someone can lie, but they're not a liar. A liar is someone who consistently lies. That they do it so much so it becomes a part of who they are. Someone who just lies either to save themselves, because if someone says, hey, you have any money, I'm going to gut you, otherwise, if or you better not tell the police, I won't tell the police, and then they tell the police about that criminal, that's a difference between lying when you need to versus lying as a behavior. Consistency. And going back to this, if you're cheating using a glitch because you're getting back at a cheater, who's someone who's hacking, or whatever the case may be, that's exploiting, using a glitch to your advantage. Cheating is actually hacked, mods, jailbreaking, using a modded controller, all that different good stuff. And apparently there's new hacks and shit coming out each and every day. There was actually a company that got exploited that Activision shut down, where they were selling their hacks and stuff. I know people can buy hacks for like $10, such as aimbot and whatnot. And people that call hackers, here's another misconception, that all hackers have all the hacks. No, you can have aimbot and that's it. You're not invincible. You don't have God mode. So that's kind of stupid that people say, oh, you're a hacker. You have aimbot and that's why you're winning. It's like, no, if someone shoots you in the back of the head, you're still dead. Hackers don't have all the hacks. They have one hack normally, but it doesn't mean they can't have all the hacks. But it's a huge misconception that saying, oh, if you're a hacker, you can do anything. It's like, no. Not unless you're the one developing the hacks and you've developed more or accessed more or even developed your own and then bought some. There's so many different variables and people don't take that into account because they're lazy fucks that are ignorant and illiterate and uneducated. Boosting. Hey, you shoot me in the head and I'll shoot you in the head. So there's that. That's what boosting is. Usually in a cage match or in a private match, and there's no point in a private match because you don't get XP and it doesn't go towards your weapons. But again, there's idiotic people that say if I go to private match, it will work towards it. No, the only way it works towards it is in a public game, normally a cage match like that we found in the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Remastered. That way you could do that, right? But that's about it. That's the username. Goes, I don't even explain it. I shouldn't have to. Well, offensive clan tag, I guess this is in case you're able to do something that the offensive language thing doesn't catch, because they've implemented now if you put FUCK, fuck, as your clan tag, they're going to say, oh, that's illegal characters or offensive name, we're not going to allow you to put that. So I guess something you can put that if it's something that your system has not caught. So there's that. And I think that's really it. So yeah, going back to the contraband, just to highlight the video, the way to get contraband is to really do scavengers. Recons work in the Warzone. It's highly unlikely that they actually work in Plunder, because you don't get any items as you would in Warzone, and all the other ones are really up in the air. I don't say it's impossible, but it's less likely even more than the recons, because people say grab recons, grab scavengers, but the takeaway of this is scavengers are the way to go. If you want to get this contract done as quickly as possible, you're gonna want to get those scavengers, and I'd highly recommend going into places that have I don't know, better loot crates. That could be an option. Maybe this not just in contrabands, it may be in more legendary crates versus rare crates. I don't know why legendary, that's correct. They swapped it because Advanced Warfare had legendary, epic being better than legendary, and really doesn't make any sense because someone can be epic, oh, that was an epic move, but they're not passed down through legends, which I agree with this. There's a couple things that Modern Warfare got right. The campaign, they got it right. The attachments and the realism, the more bullet drop, they got right. The finishing moves, the customization, sure. But they did so much more wrong than they did right in this game, and it's really just sad because they're getting more and more lazy, and it's just frustrating. And if you can think of like a fucking neckbeard in his mama's basement, that's what all they really are. It's unfortunate. Just a bunch of fat fucks that are lazy. And the funny thing is the person's behavior usually mirrors their looks. So a disgusting human being on the inside is usually a disgusting human being on the outside. A trashy, lazy asshole continues that behavior. They could be skinny and good looking, but eventually they'll be fat, neckbeard fucks. You get what I'm saying. So, or anyone with common sense understands where I'm going with this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you liked. Leave a dislike if you disliked it. Tell me if there's any content you would like to see in the future. Hello, Ross Malinski. I'm so sorry. Let's say it, Malinowski. I'm not saying that again. Anyway, hi, bud. So yeah, if you guys liked it, I would really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. Should be in the link in the description below. Like this video, share this video, smash that subscribe button, click the bell for all notifications so you could be notified for future videos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.